This is not a proper investigation done by the Department of Labor and Employment pursuant to its authority under Presidential Decree 442 of 1974 as amended and renumbered, or the Labor Code of the Philippines, its implementing rules and regulations. During the session, everyone is enjoined to observe proper decorum and maintain silence in the room. Turn off your mobile phone or put them on silent mode. Everyone, our presiding officer, Honorable Secretary Francis Tolentino.
Good morning. Before we proceed, I would like to ask the Secretary, the Clerk, to lead us in a prayer, and thereafter to acknowledge the guests.
Let us bow our heads in. Heavenly Father, we come before you today with grateful hearts and serve. We acknowledge and we humbly ask for your guidance in our discussions and decisions. Grant us clarity of mind, fairness in judgment, and unity in purpose. Help us listen with respect, speak with honesty, and act with integrity, always seeking the common good. Bless each of us, their time, their efforts, and their dedication. For work that will benefit those we serve. We entrust this hearing into your hands, Lord, and pray that everything we do today will be done with excellence, compassion, and truth. This we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Ensure a systematic and orderly procedure during this clarificatory hearing. The Clerk's Secretariat is hereby directed to present an order of business. So directed.
Hello. With the permission of the presiding officer, Honorable Secretary Francis N. Tolentino, and the members of the special panel, the clarificatory session will proceed as follows. The presiding officer will give his opening statement, followed by the special panel member, OIC Undersecretary Gerard Mosquera, will provide a brief background of the case. Mr. Baldwin and his representatives shall be given an opportunity to give his or their opening statements. Then, the special panel shall propound clarificatory questions addressed to Mr. Baldwin or his counsel, to be led by the presiding officer. The presiding officer will give directives, advice, and or pronouncement. The presiding officer, in behalf of the special panel, will give his closing statement, and then followed by the adjournment.
Before we start with the clarificatory hearing, may we ask from the counsel's appearances. Identify yourselves or your law firms accordingly.
Good morning, Secretary Tolentino, Undersecretary Mosquera, and Labor Arbiter Parado. I am Attorney Janela Flor-de-Lisa of Villanueva Atiansay, Darwin Law Offices, counsel for Coach Tab Baldwin. With me is Attorney Daniel Darwin, also from the same law firm.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if I may add, our appearance is solely in compliance with the subpoena dated June 15, 2026 and ad cotelum. Thank you.
Thank you for that, as well as the clarificatory order issued by the panel a few days ago. We thank likewise Mr. Baldwin for his appearance today, and we hope that these proceedings would really ferret out the truth to the matter at issue. May we ask the Clerk's Secretariat to please administer an oath to Mr. Baldwin or other witnesses present that the counsels may produce.
Thank you, Secretary. Please stand. Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth during this clarificatory hearing? So help you God.
Okay.
You may take your seats. pursuant to the mandate of the Department of Labor and Employment, this department initiated a motu proprio investigation as to the facts, circumstances, the legal backdrop of the incident which transpired last July 8, 2026. An incident involving two members of the Ateneo men's basketball team, namely Rene Clerc Baterbonia and Divine Adili, who were reported to have been tragically drowned during a team building activity at a beach resort in the municipality of Dipapulaw in the province of Aurora. An incident likewise this department took cognizance of, and wherein our DOLE Region 3 and provincial office in Aurora is currently doing a parallel investigation. Respondent Mr. Baldwin, again, I thank you for your presence today, is the coach of the said team and has supervision over the team activity. Noting that he is a foreign national, again, I reiterate, the Department of Labor and Employment finds it imperative to conduct this motu proprio investigation to inquire into his authority. Again, this is different from the other investigations being conducted by several government agencies as to criminal aspects, violations of special laws, among others. Our investigation would center on an inquiry into his authority to engage in gainful employment in the Philippines. In the light of what I've just said and the foregoing, we note and request the participation. Again, we take note of your participation together with the councils as we navigate the issues pertaining to the narrow issue on his alien employment permit or AEP or his compliance with regulatory requirements pursuant to Article 40 of the Labor Code of the Philippines and related implementing rules and regulations. To provide an overview of the issuances relative to this, may I ask our colleague here, Yusek Mosquera, to provide us the same, the timelines and everything, as well as the relative issuances to this matter.
Thank you, Honorable Secretary and presiding chair of this special panel. The chair, members of the special panel, and colleagues, Mr. Baldwin, counsel, good morning. Philippine law generally requires foreign nationals intending to engage in local employment in the country to secure an AEP before commencing employment. The following incidents, Your Honor, are pertinent to this inquiry as to the status of Mr. Baldwin and his authority to engage in gainful employment in the Philippines. Initially, it appears that Mr. Baldwin has been performing work as coach of the Ateneo men's basketball team, considered as gainful employment within the Philippines. The records of the Department of Labor and Employment reflects that he has neither applied for an alien employment permit or an AEP, nor has he filed an application for exemption or exclusion pursuant to DOLE Department Order numbers 221-22 and 248-25 as amended and related guidelines. On June 11, 2026, the Honorable Secretary issued a subpoena requiring Mr. Baldwin to appear before the Office of the Secretary of Labor and Employment for a conference and to bring the original or certified true copy of his AEP or other related documents, if any, has been issued to him. On June 15, 2026, Mr. Baldwin's counsel appeared and presented his alien certificate of registration identification card showing that he is a permanent resident under Section 13 of Commonwealth Act number 613, otherwise known as the Philippine Immigration Law of 1940. In a subpoena dated June 15, 2026, the department directed Mr. Baldwin to file a verified answer within 10 days from receipt thereof to explain why no administrative fines or penalty should be imposed upon him for failing to have a valid AEP while working as coach of the Ateneo basketball men's team. In compliance therewith, Mr. Baldwin submitted his verified answer ad cautelam dated June 25, 2026. On even date, by authority of the Secretary, this representation issued a notice of hearing directing Mr. Baldwin's presence in the scheduled conference today, June 29, 2026. On June 26, a copy of this notice was personally served on Mr. Baldwin's counsel. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Yusek Mosquera. With or without the assistance of counsels of record, may we request, I think this will be your first hearing, to attend of your first hearing that's really very transparent. We have the general public following this. May we have your statement, Mr. Baldwin, either assisted or unassisted by counsels, as to the issue at hand.
Good morning, Your Honor. First of all, we thank you for the opportunity to come before this honorable office today. We come here in the spirit of full compliance with the subpoena and out of due deference to the authority of this honorable office and in the spirit of full cooperation, as I've mentioned. Now, as regards the employment status of Mr. Baldwin, our position is set forth in the answer ad cotelum that we had filed before this office. My colleague, Attorney Flordalisa, will give a brief discussion for the benefit of this panel of the substance of the matters that we have raised in said answer ad cotelum. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Counsel. I've read the verified answer, but for the record, may I ask Attorney Janela Flordalisa, your pleading was entitled ad cautelum. What's the precautionary measure being alluded to? Are you going to file another pleading? Or is this just in compliance with the previous directive given by this panel? Why was it named ad cautelum?
Secretary, respectfully, the inquiry is premised. This inquiry presupposes that Mr. Baldwin is required to secure an alien employment permit, but we respectfully submit that he is not required to secure one.
Sorry, are you saying that you're trying to question the jurisdiction of this panel as well?
Sir, yes, sir. We are here and we submitted the answer without necessarily submitting to the jurisdiction of this
It's not
office.
supposed to be a leading question, but again, the answer is yes or no. Are you questioning the jurisdiction of this panel?
If I may, Your Honor, and I say this with utmost respect, the answer was filed out of utmost caution. We are simply taking the position that a requirement is not
You're taking the position of frustration?
Out of utmost caution, not frustration, sir. We take the position that the alien employment permit is not a requirement strictly applicable to our client in light of his permanent resident visa. Nonetheless, again, out of caution and out of due deference, we submit our answer. We mean no offense. It is only simply out of caution that we must declare that our appearance is out of utmost caution, Your Honor.
We take note of your statements, both counsels, but the panel will now proceed with some questions. Can you turn off your microphone, counsel? We'll proceed with some questions directed to Mr. Baldwin. Mr. Baldwin, for the record, you have just taken your oath. Again, I'd like this panel, Secretariat, take note, transcripts. I'd like you, for the record, to reiterate your name. Just relax, sitting, assisted by counsels, your position in the company you're currently, you were formerly employed during that June 8 incident, and the name of the employer.
My name is
Can you provide a microphone?
Your Honor, thank you. My name is Thomas Anthony Baldwin, and I was formerly employed by Ateneo University as a consultant.
Citizenship?
United States of America and New Zealand.
So it's a dual citizenship.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you formerly worked for Ateneo
Ateneo University.
since the time you arrived in the Philippines.
No, sir.
So in chronological order, can you state for the record the names of your employer? Because your verified answer, I'm sure you have read your verified answer, stated that you were here since, although part of the ACR given to this representation was that you were here in a redacted form since 2016, if I'm not mistaken. Can you state in chronological order the names of your employers since you arrived in the Philippines?
Yes, Your Honor. I believe that I was employed by the SBP, the National Basketball Federation.
Was since 2016.
No, Your Honor. That was for the FIBA Asia men's basketball tournament in 2013. It was a consultancy, and it was I don't know the exact dates, I'm sorry, but it was very, very short term. And then I was also employed as a consultant for Talk and Text, the PBA basketball team, and also in the capacity as head basketball coach of the Gilas men's basketball team in 2015 and 2016.
So it's mostly the National Basketball Federation who was on record your employer from since you arrived.
For that period between 2013 and when I started my employment with Ateneo in late 2016, I believe it was December, I was working primarily with the men's national basketball team. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I have, off the record, I think I've watched one of your games during the COVID pandemic days in Angeles City. But records would show, Counsel Flor de Liza, that you submitted redacted ACRs, among others, in your verified answer. Records would show that the ACR was dated 2016. And Mr. Baldwin alluded to an employment situation 2013. So between 2013 and 2016, may we know from the council, if not from Mr. Baldwin himself, what was his residency status?
Sir, respectfully, we are happy, Mr. Coach Baldwin is happy to answer your questions and provide documentation relating to the subpoena dated June 15, 2026, which directly relates to him allegedly not having an active AEP. We would be happy to answer questions and provide documentation.
I'm asking you a question now. Your verified answer seems to provide a gap sa Tagalog, may kulang. Ang sinasabi ng ACR mo ay 2016. But we just heard from Mr. Baldwin himself, under oath, that he was here since 2013. From 2013 to 2016, what was his residency status, if any?
Your Honor, since we are appearing under in compliance with the subpoena that says that Coach Baldwin has no active AEP, questions outside that, sir, we will be happy to answer upon issuance of a subpoena in given sufficient time to gather the documentation.
So you mean to say there is a need for a subpoena duces tecum when you're not right now here? This is now a hearing at testificandum. There is a gap between 2013 to 2016 when Mr. Baldwin said a while ago under oath that he was working for SBP as coach of the national team, etc., etc. Any clarificatory answer, which would provide some gaps, closure to some gaps appearing in your verified answer, unless you want, this is again not a leading query, an additional, a supplement to your verified answer.
Your Honor, we are simply saying that the
So ano yung sagot? Ano yung sagot? Noong 2013, ano siya?
If I may, Your Honor, if
Counsel?
I may, yes.
Yes. Who
Thank
is
you,
the
Your
lead
Honor.
counselor?
For purposes of today, both of us share the duty,
Okay.
Your Honor.
Go ahead.
I believe what we are trying to say is we prepared for this conference in reliance upon the subpoena that requires presentation of an active alien employment permit. Now, notwithstanding that, we are more than happy to cooperate, but we are not equipped at this moment with the information necessary for the gap years being mentioned by the Honorable Secretary. We will be more than happy to comply and provide the information we have, but we need some time for it. You may rest assured that Coach Baldwin had taken every effort keenly necessary to make sure that his presence in the Philippines and his work here is lawful. However, respectfully, the information trying to be asked for us today, we cannot make it up. We would need some time to check our records and verify, Your Honor.
We take note of that. The panel takes note of that, and we likewise are acknowledging the forthrightness and candidness of Coach Baldwin in specifying some dates, which probably would lead to your counsels in providing rightful information in the days ahead. Mr. Baldwin, I have some other questions for you based on the records, based on our records. You're trying to interject? Based on our records, specifically the Bureau of Local Employment, your name is not listed among foreign nationals who are granted an alien employment permit or AEP. For the record, do you confirm this? Do you have a card? Can somebody get a card, an AEP? It's on my desk. Off the record, Erica. Do you have an alien employment card?
Your Honor, currently
Answer is no. So you have never possessed an AEP since 2000. What was the date you mentioned a while ago?
2013.
Never got an AEP. Did you ever apply for an AEP?
Your Honor, we do have documentation that an AEP was delivered to me. An AEP application was partially filled out, and I do not recall not doing that. My habits are that when I am asked to perform documentation, I do that. But this is now some 13 years ago, and I do not have clear recollection. I apologize for that.
So, from your recollection, you never applied, nor has anybody assisted you in securing an AEP or any license whatsoever. What about a certificate or of exception or exemption coming from the Department of Labor and Employment? Were you advised that an AEP is not needed, but likewise there's a need for another certificate, a certificate of exception?
Your Honor, I have no knowledge about certificates of exemption.
Were you? Yes. Were you assisted by counsels before?
No, Your Honor.
To set the record straight.
Excuse me, if I could clarify.
Yes. Go ahead.
I was assisted, I just recalled that, I was assisted by Attorney Don Feliciano, who I believe is representative of the MVP group. And he did assist me in documentation on visas, particularly the ACR card. When that advice began, I apologize, I don't have clear recollection of when that started, but he did assist me through the process of visas and work permits such as that.
Again, my succeeding question is this. Can you state for the record before this special panel how many employers engage you totally since the time you set foot in the Philippines?
I believe I've been contracted to the SBP and to Ateneo University.
Yes.
As far as I can recall, yes, Your Honor.
And in all of this, you were assisted by counsels.
In terms of application processes, yes, Your Honor.
Are you aware that before you, perhaps this is just a routine or normal process for a person entering into a contract, much more so in a foreign land, that there should be a contract of employment? And my next question is this. You've been involved in 2 employers. Do you have in your possession, perhaps not now, perhaps in your residence, copies of your employment contracts to show the existence before of an employer-employee relationship, which would show 1, the duration of the contract, 2, the commencement of the contract, 3, the amount of emolument to be paid, 4, the scope of your responsibilities and duties enunciated in the contract, etc., etc. Your answer, Mr. Baldwin.
I do have documentation of my contracts with my employers here in the Philippines. Yes, sir.
And I'm sure you have provided your counsels here in attendance with copies of your employment contracts. You've shown them.
Your Honor, we have discussed that. I have discussed that with my employers. I have sent them documentation.
No, I mean the counsels here in attendance representing you.
If I may, Your Honor.
Please proceed,
Yes.
counsel.
Well, we can look into the matter. I do not have a copy currently with me of the employment contract, but we will be happy to comply with any directive with this honorable office. We can, of course, this will require backtracking more than a decade of documentation. We will be happy to submit in compliance with this honorable office's directive.
Thank you, counsel. Before I proceed, I'd like to show you a copy of an alien employment permit identification card issued by this department. You're saying, you just said a while ago that you have never applied for an AEP. Are you aware of this card? Do you have a card do you have a card like this in your possession before, or this is the first time you saw this card?
Your Honor, I do not have, nor do I believe I ever had a card like that. However, if I could clarify.
Go ahead.
In 2015, let me backtrack on that. I'm not exactly sure of the date.
The panel gives you sufficient time to refresh your memory. You have water in front of you.
No, I'm fine. Thank you. I did receive by email an AEP application form partially filled out. As I said, I would reiterate, it is my habit to be very fastidious when it comes to having lived in multiple countries. I understand the importance of having a correct employment status. I am generally very fastidious about these sorts of things. However, I do not have a completed application form, a stamped application form, but to my recollection and to my habits, I would be very sure that I would have followed through filling out the AEP form. I just don't have recollection of what happened after that.
And the email came from who?
I'd have to check, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Baldwin, again, for being forthright. Asek Parada, Catherine, do you have any questions?
Thank you, Your Honor. With the permission of the Honorable Presiding Officer, I just have some questions to propound to Mr. Baldwin. As a foreign national, what were the requirements you submitted to Ateneo in order for you to be hired as one of their employees?
I'm not aware of any requirements that Ateneo was asking for. I was simply offered the job and accepted.
You just signed an employment contract.
Yes, I did.
Okay. What was your position when you started working at Ateneo? That was in 2016, sir,
Yes, it was as a consultant.
as a consultant. What were your duties and functions while working in Ateneo?
Primarily the coaching, planning, preparation of the basketball team. In fact, I would say exclusively the coaching, planning, and preparation of practices and building the team and helping the players achieve their potential.
That's my questions, Your Honor.
Again, we take note of that answers, and then let me backtrack a bit. Prior to Ateneo, you were coach of the national team. Was there any written contract?
I'm sorry.
Prior to your Ateneo stint, the first one was as coach of the national team. Was there a written contract?
There was a contract. I believe it was written, but what I have is emails. So that's where I'm at right now.
So this is the verified answer your counsels prepared, in which you signed. There's a verification here, signed 25th day of June, 2026, for the record, and to facilitate the line of questioning by this panel, do you affirm the factual and legal allegations contained here as coming from your own mouth and mind and source, sans the 2013-2016 gap? Do you affirm the contents of this?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
So your response is duly noted. So, Mr. Baldwin, do you confirm that as of this date, you are a holder of a permanent resident visa, alien certificate of registration?
Yes, Your Honor, I am.
Counsel, can you, with your assistance, can you provide this panel so we can properly mark the ACR as your proper exhibits, not redacted, for this panel's documentation? Because most of the submissions, attachments, Annex A, Annex 2, were all in redacted form.
Your Honor, if this office would request a ACR card that is not redacted, may we be assured that the contents of the ACR card will remain
Of course,
confidential?
we're aware of the data privacy
Yes.
laws in existence, and I think I was part of that that procedure in having that law crafted and approved. So you can rely on this committee, but you have to submit that for the record. Do you have any photocopy right now?
No, what I have is also redacted, Your Honor, so we can submit an ACR card that is not redacted.
Noted. So, Mr. Baldwin, your response is that a while ago. Your response is that you are in possession of a permanent residency card, and as per your verified answer, like to restate this. I'd like you to restate this. You're exempt from an AEP. It's part of your answer.
To my understanding, that is correct.
My question is this right now. Who advised you as to that exemption? Because a while ago you said you receive an email. And a while ago, you mentioned that you were fastidious in answering and complying with legal requirements coming from another jurisdiction. Was there any legal advice coming from an outside source, counsels, or your employer that you are not required to have an AEP? Who advised you? You mentioned a certain Attorney Feliciano a while ago.
Nobody ever, Your Honor, advised me that I should not have an AEP card. I was only advised that a permanent residency card would satisfy my employment requirements.
So who advised you that your permanent residency card is sufficient?
The attorney that was assisting me at the time.
Can you name the attorney?
Attorney Don.
Attorney
Don Feliciano.
Attorney Don Feliciano. What's the first name? Same office?
No, Your Honor.
What's the first name?
We do not know the first name, Your Honor. We can try to ascertain that, but we don't have the information at the moment.
Secretariat, we might have a second hearing and we might be required to issue a subpoena to the certain Attorney Don Feliciano. There is, for the information of Mr. Baldwin, there is Department Order 248. This is quite complicated. This is legal, a thick document, a folder. Department Order 248 series of 2025. When you signed the verified answer, was part of the consultation or advice given by the councils in attendance today the explanation of this department order? Are you aware of this?
Respectfully, Your Honor, when it comes to internal communications between ourselves as well as the client,
I
would
think
have
that's
to invoke
privilege.
privilege.
I know,
Yes,
I
Your
know
Honor.
my rules.
We hope you
I know
understand.
I know the code of professional responsibilities in various jurisdictions. Modesty aside, but was there an advice, counsel?
If I may, Your Honor, if I may address. Of course, the matter was brought to us post facto, right? There was already a subpoena issued by this honorable office, right? And of course, we have to deliver the legal position tenable for the respondent, Mr. Baldwin. Now, as regards these explicit communications between us in the preparation of the answer, we most respectfully
That's privilege.
invoke privilege.
That's privilege. So we take it to mean that the client was advised, the contents of the advice is privilege. So my question now is directed to Mr. Baldwin. Were you in communication before or after the June 8th incident with your employers? I'm now referring to employer 1 and employer 2 as to what process and steps to be taken relative to your situation. You may answer, you may not answer. Counsel may say it's privilege. Mr. Baldwin.
Your Honor, we respectfully request some clarification. What is the nature exactly of the communications sought to be elicited from the client?
The communication has something to do with the employer-employee relationship prior to what we heard from various media accounts that it was already terminated. Was there a communication between the employer and the employee? I'm not just referring to the previous employer, but even the first employer you mentioned a while ago.
Maybe have a moment to confer with our client, Your Honor.
Are you asking for a period of recess?
No, Your Honor. Just a few seconds, 30 seconds will do.
Granted.
We are prepared to answer, Your Honor.
Mr. Baldwin, you have the floor.
Your Honor, as it relates to my employment, I only had one employer at that time prior to the June 8th incident. That's Ateneo University. And I had had no discussions with them regarding my employment status. I didn't have any discussions until after the incident when I resigned.
So you're saying that after the incident, there was no contact whatsoever with the employer, no discussions whatsoever. But how was the severance of the employer-employee relationship done when was what you, which contrary to what you said a while ago, that there was no discussion at all?
No, Your Honor, I'm sorry. Just to clarify, prior to the June 8th incident, I had no discussions with Ateneo University regarding my employment status. After the June 8th incident, I did have discussions with Ateneo University in the form of a resignation.
So let's backtrack a bit for clarity. For the record again, can you tell this special panel what is the nature of your engagement with Ateneo? Is it a contract in perpetuity? Is it a 1-year contract, 2-year contract, per season contract, 3-year contract, renewable for another 3 years, etc., etc.? Your words, Mr. Baldwin.
In 2025, I'm not sure of the month, I signed a 3-year extension to my pre-existing contract with Ateneo as a consultant for the coaching position of the men's basketball team.
So 3 years to expire 2028.
26, yeah, that would be correct, I believe.
So this contract is not contingent upon any championship, upon any record whatsoever. So just a contract.
Not at all.
Okay. Are you aware of any, perhaps your counsel could have informed you about existing labor laws, Philippine laws that would say a highly technical, skilled foreign worker is allowed to work here on the condition that he or she should be able to transfer the technical knowledge to an understudy, eventually making the Filipino understudy or understudies acquire the same skills, perhaps not the same level as you have. Are you aware of that Philippine requirement?
From a legal standpoint, Your Honor, no, I'm not aware of that. But I would say that during my tenure coaching Ateneo, I have had anywhere from 10 to 15 assistant coaches, several who have gone on to become head coaches or assistant coaches in other programs. So I believe that, and it is certainly an intent of mine to transfer the knowledge and experience I've gained in my career to the young men working for me and for the benefit of their careers.
So in that regard, you're telling this committee that you're successful enough to transfer your knowledge or skills to a Filipino understudy, thereby allowing them to continue the program based on what you've comments. Can you name some coaches just for the record?
Sure. Yuri Escueta has gone on to become the
Who again?
Coach Yuri Escueta
Okay.
has gone on to become the head coach at San Beda. Coach Gabby Severino has gone on to work with St. Benilde, FEU. He was a head coach of an MPB. Is that right? MPBL basketball team as a head coach. Those two come to mind right away. There may be others.
So you're saying that you were successful in that regard. And you mentioned a while ago that the last signing with Ateneo was 2025, renewable for another 3 years till 2028. Were there previous renewals? Were there previous renewals and when you executed these written renewals before, I'm sure that your employer would probably should have taken note of that transfer of technology that you have done. You mentioned a while ago. Are you willing to submit copies of the renewals done before?
Just to be clear, Your Honor, I don't believe there were renewal clauses
No.
in the
I'm saying
contract.
this. The 2025 contract with the employer Ateneo is not the original contract. You were
Correct.
here since 2026. You mentioned a while ago 2013. Were there previous renewals? And this is during these days of technology, perhaps your laptop. Again, no attempt to pry on your data privacy contents. Were there renewals done before, previous to 2025? If this is 3 years, was there a 2022 renewal done? I saw you during that Angeles City game during the COVID days. Was there a renewal? Not good in math, 2019 or what? 2019 and so on and so forth. How many renewals were executed in your favor?
As a coach of Ateneo, I've had three separate, and each negotiated on its own merits, 3 separate contracts.
3 separate contracts. And are you willing to submit copies of those contracts to this panel? If
I would leave that to you.
required?
We do not have them at the moment, Your Honor, but we can undertake to submit copies.
As part, perhaps, when this panel issues a directive that you prepare, submit a memorandum.
If it will please the honorable office, we request that an appropriate subpoena be issued
Yes.
for that purpose, so that we will be obliged, Your Honor.
The clerk is directed to issue the appropriate subpoena duces tecum as regards the narrated 3 prior contracts initially engaged by Mr. Baldwin with his employer. So again, Mr. Baldwin, relative to your last engagement with Ateneo, that was the 2025 contract, may you state for the record your duties, tasks, and responsibilities? Prepare the team, sharpen the team, etc., etc.
Your Honor, I've always stood on one very clear principle in my employment, and that is I'm a basketball coach. I don't delve into other areas of administration and management and payroll and such as that. So my responsibilities are exclusively the preparation, the practice planning, the game preparation, the individual player development of the team, with an aspiration to create professional basketball players, professional young men, and championship basketball teams. And I don't vary from those responsibilities. I have no intention nor any desire to. I would go so far as to say that I'm just the quintessential basketball coach and nothing more.
So we take note of that. The panel takes note of that. So the arrangement is basically the preparation, the professional handling, quote unquote. Professional doesn't have to intrude into amateur rules of FIBA, but the preparation of the team, the preparation, the cohesion, the engagement of the team in UAAP alone, or even in other FIBA arenas.
I don't believe with Ateneo we have participated in any other FIBA events, but we do participate in summer basketball leagues, and we do participate in friendly games or casual games, both here in the Philippines and occasionally overseas.
So under this arrangement of you just handling the basketball team, who is responsible, if you can answer, for ensuring that Philippine laws are complied with in the matter of in the nature of your work?
I would believe that to be my employer.
Your employer. And your employer is? The
Ateneo University.
Ateneo de Manila. And then 2016, you have your verified answer is here. 2016, although in redacted form, which your counsel agreed to submit to this special panel. 2016, you acquired your alien certificate of registration. Who assisted you in processing the ACR?
I'm not exactly clear on.
This is quite tedious. This is quite tedious. To acquire this is quite tedious. It's not just a zone offense. You have to go through myriad of legalities. So who assisted you? Counsels here present? Ateneo?
My employers.
Ateneo.
Yeah, who that would be specifically, I'm not sure.
So you are this was just given to you? No. Did you appear before the Bureau of Immigration?
To my recollection, I had to, go through quite a process, but I don't remember the specifics. I apologize.
So this was just given to you, if I'm not, no exertion of any effort of because you mentioned I could not forget that word, fastidious. So that would mean the details, filling up forms, going to an office, going to that bureaucratic red tape, going to that, appearing before a group likewise in an office. Was that not done when you got this?
I mentioned the word fastidious in reference to my nature, in reference to the specifics of acquiring the ACR card. By recollection, I remember there was quite a process, but I just don't recall the details of something.
10 years ago.
10 plus years ago, yes.
10
sir.
years ago. This is 2016. We're now 2026. So that was 10 years ago. A few meters from this building, or a kilometer from this building. That was supposed to be the office. That's also in Intramuros. So you cannot no longer recollect what happened then.
I do remember visiting Intramuros, and I remember being walked through the process, but I don't have.
Who was the lawyer then?
I
The same attorney you mentioned a while ago?
I can't say for sure, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
Counsel, any comment on that?
If I may, Your Honor, I
Go
think
ahead.
the witness can simply testify based on his own recollection, and he has been candid enough to admit what he can and cannot remember. Respectfully, I don't think he could state anything other than what he personally recalls.
The correct answer should be, if you're in law school, is that there is a presumption of regularity, counsel.
We join that manifestation, Your Honor. Yes.
You should have been my student. At this point, are there other further questions coming from this special panel?
Yes, sure.
Go ahead.
Just a few questions on the verified answer. Just a few questions, Your Honor, on the verified answer, if the counsel would indulge. Just to clarify, it is the position of Mr. Baldwin that he is exempt from the requirements of securing an alien employment permit. Do you confirm this, attorney?
Yes, sir, that is our position.
Yes, and it is the issuance in favor of Mr. Baldwin of an alien certificate of registration, which vests upon him the status of a resident, a permanent resident, that vested in him the status of being exempt under the requirements of Section 40 of the Labor Code and implementing guidelines.
To be clear, sir, him being a permanent resident
Correct.
visa holder, as
Correct.
reflected in the ACR,
Correct.
is what we
Correct.
submit, what exempts him from
Correct.
the AEP requirement.
Again, I take that as a yes.
Yes.
Okay. And Council, you're aware that under Department Order 221, this was issued sometime in January 2021. You mentioned in your verified answer that the requirement is directory because of the use of the word may. Is that your position in your verified answer?
Yes, sir, that is our position.
Okay. But you also confirm that in a subsequent issuance, which is Department Order 248, which was issued sometime around January of 2025, the requirement for obtaining certificates of exemption was changed. Now it has become mandatory per that department order.
Yes, under the 2025 rules, sir.
And despite the fact that the requirement to secure a certificate of exemption has been made by regulation of the department to be a mandatory requirement, from January of 2025 to this date, this panel has been informed by Mr. Baldwin that he has not neither applied for nor has secured a certificate of exemption, which would document his status as an exempt foreign national working in the Philippines.
Yes, sir. But to be clear, what we're also saying is that at the time his permanent resident visa status was vested to him, there was no requirement for Mr. Baldwin to secure a certificate of exemption.
Thank you very much. That would be all, Your
If
Honor.
I may briefly add, Your Honor, as I've mentioned, we come in the spirit of full cooperation.
Has been
We
noted
have,
before, yes.
we have stated our position as regards the requirement for the AEP, but we will be happy to comply, right? But as our position as of today, right, in light of the subpoena, is that at the time he is not required to secure certificate of exemption, Your Honor. But again, we are here to cooperate.
That will be part of your memorandum to be submitted, if any.
We understand, Your Honor.
Sec Parado, further questions? There are no further questions coming from the members of this panel. At this point, the panel is constrained to issue a subpoena to the employer, Ateneo de Manila University. Clerk is directed to issue the same addressed to the President or the Chairman of the Board of Trustees of the university to appear on July, what's the date, 10 days from now? Yes. 10 days from today. July 8th? July 9th. To continue this special panel's hearing before we conclude the same. The special panel would like to thank Mr. Baldwin for his appearance today, counsels of record, and we are glad that the questions propounded and the answers of this Mr. Baldwin and counsels done forthrightly shall form part of the records of this matter and shall be evaluated together with the documents presented in ad cautelam before initially, and a corresponding memorandum, if any, to be submitted by the counsels of record would likewise substantiate the conclusion of this matter. All the records shall be the basis for a judicious and fair determination of whether Mr. Baldwin respondent violated or disregarded existing laws rules and regulations of the Department of Labor and Employment, particularly Section 40 of the Labor Code of the Philippines, as renumbered and amended, and its implementing rules and regulations. After the hearing with the employer on July 9, the panel shall prepare its report, and the report would take into account the punitive as well as other measures that this panel can enforce under existing laws. May we ask for any closing statement coming from counsels or Mr. Baldwin before we conclude this special hearing, if any?
From our end, Your Honor, we simply state and reiterate our cooperation with this honorable office. We give our reassurance that we are here to comply with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations. We thank this honorable office for the opportunity to be heard this morning.
Mr. Baldwin?
Your Honor, I would just like to say thank you for these deliberations and the opportunity to come before you and answer questions. My work here in the Philippines has been some of the best work of my life. I've enjoyed it immensely. I think there's nothing quite like working with Filipino basketball players, and I've always respected the process. I've always tried to be diligent in following the correct procedures, and hopefully this is something that we have done well enough to please the Department of Labor.
Thank you. Counsel, other statements?
None from my end, Your Honor. Thank you.
Previous directives given to the clerk, secretariat, are to be implemented today. So, Director. Again, thank you for your participation. We will be excusing Mr. Baldwin. Counsels, we thank you again for your attendance. And to ensure the continuation of our fairness and the orderly procedure done today, respecting your rights, following the procedures, we will be, with the assistance of the security officials here present, will be ushering Mr. Baldwin and counsels first outside of this hall. You will be exiting in a different hallway to preserve, to ensure, not your safety, to ensure the fairness of this procedure. This special panel is now concluding the investigation insofar as the presence of Mr. Baldwin is concerned, and the employer would be required to appear 10 days from today. The counsels are directed to submit a memorandum, likewise in support of the legal justifications mentioned a while ago, and Secretariat Clerk are directed to provide the transcript of stenographic notes to the counsels. This special session memorandum in 10 days. 10 days after the appearance of the employer, we will be issuing the decision. So ordered.
Sorry,
Counsel.
Your Honor, just to clarify, the submission of the memorandum is 10 days after the appearance of...
10 days from today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
So no other matters to discuss. The special panel of the Department of Labor and Employment is hereby adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.